Hi, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the 2021 year ahead forecast for life path number threes. This, of course, is a general reading, so if you would like a personalized reading where we look at your personal energies, then go ahead and book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. So threes. Okay, so 2021 is what we call a 5 universal energetic year. And so basically what that means for the collective is this is a year of exploration from the ashes. So 2020 was a 4 universal energetic year, and that's where we had the falling of the systems, falling of the structures and the foundations that no longer served us so that we could rebuild from the ashes. And really, it's like, I don't even know that we're necessarily in the full-on rebuilding stage in 2021. I feel like this is more of the exploration stage. So as we enter this year or this age of Aquarius, it's like we are exploring, we're evolving, we're looking into new things to see what works and what doesn't so that we can decide how we want to build. So this year is going to be all about that exploration and taking our time to decide what and how we choose to build. So 5 energy also often holds a lot of changes and redirects, but it's important to understand that those changes and redirects are often come in to keep us from falling back into old ways, all right? So ultimately, they are for our highest good, even though sometimes that can feel a little challenging. And then also, this year is going to remind us to continue to come back to ourselves, to continue to find the equilibrium from within and the balance that makes most sense to ourselves. And so we need to be mindful of the extremes in a 5 energetic year or a 5 energetic cycle, because it's very, very easy to fall into an excess of, again, living in excess or, being controlled by extreme thoughts or whatever the situation may be. But 5 energy is just constantly reminding us to take things in moderation and to continue to find our balance and equilibrium as we explore and as we explore new territory and new ground as we decide what we want to build and how we want to build it. And so I pulled an animal spirit card for you all to kind of get an overall energy for threes specifically. And so you guys got mouse spirit. And I love this for threes because it says you're overlooking some important details. So pay closer attention to what's going on. But what I like about that for threes is because you're so much about creation and creativity and the bigger picture and sort of the expansiveness that sometimes it's easy to overlook the details. And so this year, when things feel overwhelming or really big, don't forget that it's okay to bring it back down a little bit and pay attention to those details. It's going to be really important for you this year, especially with this 5 energy sort of fueling that expansiveness and that wide open space, right? And the bigger picture. So you're going to want to keep bringing it back to find your balance and paying attention to the finer details. Okay, so January 2021 for threes, we have this really interesting energy of sort of like you can almost feel a quite literal shift from 2020 into this 5 energy of 2021, which is not surprising for threes because 4 energy of 2020 probably felt very restrictive for you, which it felt restrictive for everybody because of the pandemic and those circumstances. But for threes, it probably felt really confining, and you don't always work best from a restrictive state. You like to kind of be able to live outside of the boundaries, right? And so I feel like you're going to feel a shift come January where it's like, there still may be some restrictions in place, but you're able to step beyond them in your own way. And so I feel like it's kind of like it feels very synchronistic actually for January for you all. It's like things just kind of randomly pop up or show up and into your sphere, and you're like suddenly become aware of something maybe you weren't aware of before, which enter mouse spirit, paying attention to those details. So yeah, it's kind of like opportunities kind of fall in your lap this month. And so pay attention to the details of those opportunities to make sure that before you say yes, it's something your heart and your soul really want to say yes to, that you're not doing it out of obligation. But it does kind of feel like this shift in energy where it's like things start happening in your favor. Not that they weren't happening in your favor before, but it's kind of, again, those synchronistic events that just feel really, really light and kind of put the wind back in your sails a little bit. So enjoy that energy. It's very, very beautiful. Then you move into February, and it's interesting. It's kind of like the opportunities that came in for you in January kind of redirect you in a way, or give you the opportunity for a redirection. And now in February, you're kind of like, it's time to move on. It's time to set that all in motion. And, you've said yes to whatever this is. And now you're starting on a different path. That doesn't mean that starting on this new path is necessarily going to be without its own challenges and may make you reconsider at times or question whether you made the right decision. But the answer is you made the right decision. So in order for you to grow and evolve and to build something that makes more sense for you, you need to change location almost. Now, this isn't for everybody, but you need to change something. It needs to be a mindset change or a change in location or a change in relationship, because again, it's almost like you're going on a new journey and you don't have all the pieces yet to the puzzle, and you can't necessarily see exactly where you're going, but you have to continue to trust the universe that it's leading you where you need to be and what makes sense for you. So again, it's like in February, it's time to take the action to move towards the location, again, energetically or physically, that best will sustain you and what you want to build in the coming year. Okay, so I know that sounds kind of cryptic, but it's like you have the opportunities coming in, the shift in sand in January, and then come February, it's like, okay, I need to change location, change house, change relationships, change something, because what I'm continuing to show up for and invest in has met its end, basically. There's just nothing there more that you can do. It's sort of met its expiration date, if that makes sense. So just trust that though you can't see everything just yet, and it still feels a little unknown, that you are moving in the right direction. So pay attention to what comes in for you and remind yourself of that as needed, that yes, this is a little scary, and yes, I don't know all the answers yet, but this feels right, so I'm going to continue to move towards it. Then we move into March, and it's kind of like when you make that decision in February to move towards whatever it is that you want to move forward, then this really fast-moving energy moves in of the universe supporting you. And so it's like you may all of a sudden receive communications from people that you haven't heard from in a while, or opportunities will show up just out of the blue, and it'll feel almost like a whirlwind, but it's in a good way, because I feel like for so many people, 2020 felt like stop, go, a lot of stop, a little bit of go. And March for you all feels like a lot of go. And so, but a lot of go that is aligned with the direction you want to move into, okay? It's fast forward moving energy, and it's like sweeping you up and taking you where you need to go. The only thing you need to do for it is to say yes and to show up. So that's really powerful, and I feel like you're going to see those themes throughout March. And so again, it's like all of these opportunities coming in, and you get to decide which ones you say yes to, which ones you say no to, which ones feel aligned and which ones don't. So beautiful, fast-moving, powerful energy in March for you threes. Also, I'll mention it also feels like very creative energy, which is such the core of your being that it's like I feel like this is going to feel like a really great month for you to gain momentum on something that you have been investing in creatively or wanted to invest in creatively but hadn't had the green light to do it. I feel like energetically you've got the green light in March to do whatever this is. Then come April, just a lot of fulfillment. Like the universe is giving you all of these gifts and opportunities. It just feels like, again, where 2020 might have felt like you were kind of grasping at straws and trying to force things to happen. It's like now all of a sudden you've got this fast moving energy and the universe just handing you all these gifts. And again, you get to decide what you choose and what you don't. And so whatever this is in April, again, it feels like fulfillment. It feels like, you really taking the time to fill your own cup and to make sure that your needs are being met, and that, body, mind, spirit, and that you're finding your balance. And as you continue to do that, and as you continue to nurture yourself and give yourself permission to play in the realm of creativity, which is your realm, then it's like the universe can play along and can give you the gifts that, and the opportunities that you've been asking for. And so, because you're open to receiving them. And so, again, April, again, is just this really beautiful energy of receiving and the universe giving, and just your cup runneth over of complete fulfillment. It's like the gifts keep coming, and you just need to remember that you're worthy of them. And, if it calls to you, then grab it and go. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful energies. You got a little bit of not heavy energy in February, but it's a little bit of that energy of like, okay, I don't know where I'm going, but I know I need to go here, and just trusting. But the other energies for January, March, and April are just so supportive and so, fast moving and just fulfilling. So love to see this for threes. Then we move into May. And again, we've got another sort of, another offer, but it feels like one of those, like, you're just overwhelmed with joy because this offer is coming in. And so this can be really beautiful this feels like it's sort of building on something else. So again, if it's like something that you were working on in 2020 and now all of a sudden this great offer comes in for you now in May of 2021, that it's building upon this. So this can do with relationships, this can do with careers, whatever, but it's building upon whatever, something that you were already building on. So it's like adding another layer to it, but it's an offer that feels really good for you and really supported. So you can say yes to it. And this could be you proposing to somebody, someone proposing to you, taking your relationship to another level, taking your career to another level, coming up with a new idea for your business and implementing that idea, the opportunity to work with somebody else in some way that's emotionally fulfilling. So along those lines, it's almost like you're walking out of the desert into the oasis. And so again, it's like for 2020 being the desert, and now 2021 moving you into the oasis. And so again, as always, you just have to say yes to it and show up for it. And then we move into June, and it's interesting. It's kind of like a lot of abundance coming in for you for June. A lot of material abundance. It feels very stable. It feels very secure. It's like if you were kind of wondering where, your next client was going to come from, or your next, if you were going to be able to make ends meet, that sort of thing. If you were struggling with that in 2020, it's like the work you've been doing and everything that's kind of happened in 2021 has moved you into this energy of just mass abundance. And so that can come in a variety of ways. This is a general reading, but it could come in through inheritance. It could come in through just all of a sudden, like word of mouth, and your product or whatever just takes off. It feels very physical. It could be if you start a YouTube channel and then all of a sudden, at one night you have 100 subscribers and the next night you have 1 million. I mean, it's just that kind of energy where it's like, you've shown up, you focused your energy in the way that was going to help you move forward. And now all of a sudden it's like, again, here comes those tangibles. Here comes that very physical gratification. And I hate to use the word validation because we don't want to look to the external for validation, but we'd be lying if we didn't say that it doesn't help to receive that validation from the external, that's not uplifting in some way. And so we don't need it, but it's nice to have it. And so I feel like you're receiving that in June of this year of 2021. So powerful energy there, and very, like I said, very substantial. So however it comes in for you, just be open to receiving it, because it's really setting you up for longevity. Okay. And then we move into July, and it's interesting. There's like this energy for needing to protect what you've created. And I don't feel so much that I feel like that's energetically, and I feel like it's also somewhat physically as well. I feel like it's kind of like people may not understand your choices, but they don't need to understand your choices if it's not hurting them, okay? If it doesn't have anything to do with them, then they don't need to understand them. And so it's kind of like you're kind of put in this position in July to stand up for what you believe in to be right for you, as long as it's not hurting another or hurting yourself, right? And so it's kind of like this month, you have to stand up for what you believe in. You need to stand in your power. You need to protect what you have created, and know that the direction that you're moving in is the right direction for you, right? So if you need to drown out the external noise and the judgments and the critiques and that sort of thing, then drown it out, because it's not serving you. And you can do that in a non-aggressive way, to stand in your power and stand in your truth, but understand that what you have created is worth protecting. It is worth standing up for. It is worth pursuing. So continue on that path. You are on the right path. You just need to drown out that external noise and create healthy boundaries so that others know that their interference is not welcome. Their support is welcome, but their interference is not welcome. And so maybe some difficult conversations coming in July that you need to have, but if what you have is worth fighting for, then fight for it. And I don't mean that in, of course, aggressive way. I just mean with standing up for what you believe in and continuing on your path when you know it's the right path. Because I do feel like this month you might receive some external resistance, and sometimes that's the universe saying, is this what you really want? If it is, then you need to stand up for it. And then we move into August. And it's interesting because there's still that energy of protecting what you have acquired almost. Not to the point where you're not circulating that energy. Like, if it's financial, then if the finances, you see all this wealth come in, then we are meant to circulate that energy. Money is an energy. And so you are meant to circulate that to give and receive. Okay. It's meant to be very infinite in a sense, right? So it's constantly circulating. When we get to an extreme, remember that 5 energy of extremes, when we get into an extreme where we're protecting but we're hoarding, right? That can be detrimental in a lot of ways. And so if you find your energy being one of attachment or neediness or clinging in this month of August, then it's important to protect what you've created and what you've accumulated, but share that wealth, okay? So this is where Mouse Spirit, I think, is going to come in for you in paying attention to those important details. So again, it's like, why are you clinging to this? Why are you attaching to whatever this is? Why are you afraid of losing whatever this is? Because there's deeper work to be done there. Because once you can release that energy, then things become much more where it's a give and take, right? And it's a very circular kind of energy, and it just continues to circulate, okay? So I do feel like there's a chance that you may have some fear around losing something, or maybe others taking something from you. But remember, you're in the driver's seat. You get to decide. And so as long as there's a healthy balance between giving and receiving, then there's nothing that somebody else can take from you that would throw you off course or be completely detrimental. So release your grip a little bit. And that's really the energy for August, is protect what you've created, but share that wealth as well, right? Okay. Then we move into September, and September is an interesting energy. It's like, again, it's just a lot about reclaiming your power this month or this year, and really understanding your truth, understanding your worth, being very decisive in using your discernment for moving forward in a way that works for you. And if you want to be creative in a certain way, but others don't get it, this is the year where you stand up and you say, that's okay, you don't have to agree with this, but this is the way I'm doing it because this feels good for me. And this is where my passion lies. And so it's really that permission to yourself to express yourself any way you want to express yourself if it feels true for you. And so you may have some opportunities in September to really flex that muscle and see have that clarity come in about what you want, and then stand up for that and really pursue that in a way where you don't feel the need to apologize or seek permission from others to be able to do this, whatever this is that you want to do. And that takes courage. Sometimes that takes a lot of courage to go beyond the herd or go against the grain when it really calls to you, but others can't understand that calling. So I feel like September, you're going to have an opportunity to, again, stand firm in your decisiveness, stand firm in your truth and what you believe to be true for you, because that's what's going to help you move forward, and that's going to help you move forward authentically. And that's the key, especially for threes, for all humans, but threes, you're the core of your energy is so creative, right? That it's like, if you're not expressing yourself authentically in a creative way, then you start to get really stagnant and stifled. And that's not a great combination for threes. So yeah, September is just this real energy of being able to stand in your power, and stand in your power knowingly that you are being authentic to who you are, and that you don't need to apologize for that, as long as it's not hurting you or somebody else, right? Then we move into October, and October is kind of like, again, I get this energy of like the carrot that we've planted, and we can just sort of see the little sprouts from the carrot. We can't see the actual orange or, the color of the carrot because it's under the surface. And we can get impatient with the carrot because we want to pull the carrot and eat the carrot, but the carrot's not ripe yet. It's not ready to be grown, and we can't see how much it's grown from underneath. So we can't make assumptions based on that, right? We can't make assumptions based on how little the leaf is. The carrot might be huge underneath. And so it's kind of like October is this energy for threes where it's like, you are creators. You are, at the helm of creation. In that creation, it's a co-partnership, right? It's a partnership of co-creation. And so this is a month where you may be reminded that you have your job to do, and then the universe has its job to do. And there are things happening beneath the surface that you don't need to be aware of, that you don't have to have control over, but understand and trust that they're occurring so that your harvest will be ready when it needs to be ready in divine timing. And so I feel like you're going to get some doses of reminders of divine timing in October, and to have patience and trust yourself and trust the universe. You just have to show up to the parts that you're meant to show up to, and you're meant to release control over the parts that you're not meant to have control over, and allow the universe or the partner or whoever to do their part, and understand that working together will bring you the greatest reward. And so if you have this feeling of trying to control something, or getting frustrated because something's not ready when you think it should be ready, or something's not happening when you think it should be happening, this is a call to remember that things will happen in divine timing when they're meant to. What's yours will be yours, and what's meant to come to you will come to you when it's meant to. If it's not yours, or it's not meant to be yours, then it's not going to come, and there's no sense waiting for it. So just do your part, continue to show up, continue to do your part, and then trust the universe to do its part, and understand that things truly do happen in divine timing. So have patience. October is going to be a big month for patience for you all. So tune into that as best as you can and try to harness that energy. As we move into November, it's interesting because it's like something from the past almost resurfaces for you, but something that's giving you, putting some wind in your sails, and it's giving you some big inspiration, some new ideas, big new ideas to move forward with. But it's interesting because I feel like it's coming in from the past. So that might be from a past person, that might be from a past job, that might be something from the past, a past memory or something like that, or you're reminded of something from the past. But it's almost like now, talking about divine timing, now it's the timing. So it's like the timing is right now. So in November, you'll get those missing pieces and you can move forward now. So pay attention to, the messages that come in for you. Pay attention to your dreams, to the conversations you have with people. But it feels like all of a sudden you have like this major inspiration coming in. And again, it's something from the past, but that's helping you to move forward. It's almost like that missing piece falling into your lap in November. And now you can move forward, right? In a big way. What's interesting though is it's kind of like if you had in tarot, if you had like the Nine of Wands and you were just waiting for that 10th wand to show up. And so in November, the 10th wand shows up, right? So then in December, now you've got 10 wands. So now what do? Now there's the problem of potentially trying to do it all by yourself. And so it's like where you had a problem before because you were missing the last wand. Now you have a problem because you have too many wands. And what do you do with them all? So in December, it's like this energy of now you have all the pieces, but now you have to decide how to find your balance within those pieces. And so it's kind of like, how can you delegate? How can you ask for support? There's a big energy in December of feeling like you have to do everything on your own or by yourself. And that can lead to feeling defeated really, really quickly. And so there's this energy of, yes, you can do it on your own. Yes, you will still you'll still reach your goal, but it's going to be much more challenging doing it on your own if you try to remain an island, right? It's kind of like you have to allow the external to help you, right? To support you, to even like when we're healing, it's like we have to allow the external to be our teachers and to trigger us and to show us what we need healing, because sometimes we're caught up in our ego and we can't see everything. And so if we think that we're meant to do it all on our own, there is an arrogance around that and we end up missing things. And so coming back to Mouse Spirit, where he says, you're overlooking some important details. So pay closer attention to what's going on. In December, I feel like there may be this tendency to feel like, okay, I'm going to do it all by myself and I've got this. And there's almost a sense of martyrdom there, and there doesn't need to be. You just need to let some pride down, right? Like humble yourself just a little bit. And it's not a judgment. Like we all go through something similar, but it's just this call to delegate and find your support team. And then now that you have all these wands that you've been waiting for, things are going good. You have everything that you need. Don't cling to that too tightly or try to hoard it, but share the wealth and share the support and the resources and allow others to help you. So again, December could be one of those things where it's like everything's going so good, and don't make it more difficult than it needs to be by trying to do it all by yourself, okay? So the energy feels really good for December. It just feels like there may be a tendency to overdo it on your part, where you just want to do it all by yourself and do it all and do it all right this second. And it comes back to that energy of patience and asking for support and receiving and accepting support, and then working together to be able to get to the goal that you're moving towards, okay? So really beautiful, powerful 2020 for you threes. I really like to see this. I like to see, it's just, I feel like a lot of it is just you being able to explore and expand and create and find your balance and work with others in a way where it's like you're all working towards the same goal while creatively expressing yourself, which feels really, really powerful. So I love this for you guys. I hope it's a great 2021. And so take care for now. Bye-bye.